coming up on Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen.
But if you are trying to control the relationship financially, you'll never have intimacy in your relationship, because God designed marriage to be a full partnership.
I feel like this person controls the finances. The other person says, great, would you take half? And they go, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to help you. I just don't want you to control me.
Yeah.
And we
So
sit there
you
and
have
go,
to have a partnership.
It has to be a partnership. You have to come halfway. And the person that's controlling the money needs to let the person step in and share in those responsibilities.
Money can be a blessing and basis of intimacy in marriage, but for that to happen, we need to relate to money as a couple and make all of our financial decisions together.
Early in our marriage, money was one of our biggest problems because we thought managing money would happen naturally. We learned that financial partnership only happens when we work at it.
In today's teaching, I want to share 3 steps to achieving financial intimacy and partnership in your marriage. And the number 1 is this: mutual respect. If you're going to have partnership and intimacy, there has to be mutual respect in the relationship. And that means this: there is not going to be chauvinism in this relationship. Men are not better than women, and women are not better than men. The Bible says in Christ there's neither male nor female. And when God made man and woman, He made man and woman. There was never a reference to order or authority until the fall. In a good marriage, you never talk about who the boss is, because the boss is Jesus Christ. There's never a pecking order, and there's never a putting down of a person because of how much they make. It doesn't matter how much you both make, individually or together. The only thing that matters is this is our money, and we're going to spend it as God directs and as we decide, but there's not going to be any sense of disrespect. Money languages. Kenneth Doyle, financial psychologist at the University of Minnesota, also has money languages that he describes. But one of the money languages is driver. Money means success to a driver, and it protects against the fear of incompetence. Another money language, according to Kenneth Doyle, is unamiable. Money means love. Relationships and people are the focus of their financial desires. Money means love and affection. Third is an analytic. Money means security. It wards off chaos and problems. And the fourth one is expressive. Money means acceptance and respect. Money means a basis of relationship with desirable people. Now, I am an amiable. Okay, and Karen is an analytic. Now, a lot of people have a primary language and a secondary language. But when Karen and I got married, we didn't understand each other's money language. And to me, money means love. I mean, when I have money, everybody's going to be happy, because I just want to take everybody out to eat. I just want to love everybody and help bless the family, and money means love to me. To Karen, and Karen's a very generous person, money means security to Karen. And she's a saver. I'm more of a spender. And so to Karen, she wants to save the money. And by the way, in money languages, they show love in different ways. A driver shows love by showing. Big house, cars, swimming pool. Look at how much I love you. I have succeeded and bought you all these great things. An amiable shows love by sharing. I want to share what I have with you. An analytic shows love by saving. These are these relatives of yours that give you savings bonds at Christmas, and purple socks. An expressive shows love by spending and going out and trying to contact people in a world that they want to be a part of. And so when Karen and I, when we got married, we fought constantly about money. And when we fought, we called each other names. And she'd look at me and say, "You're a spendthrift." And I'd look at her and say, "You're a tightwad." And I mean, we got into those kind of fights, but here's what you need to understand. First of all, there really isn't any right or wrong. It just is what it is, because all of us view money in a particular way. But when you're disrespecting your spouse's money language, what is happening is there's not going to be any intimacy in the relationship. Let me just tell you the truth. If you're different, you're better off than if you're the same, because every money language has a weakness also. They have strengths and weaknesses. Karen and I make wonderful decisions together. And I make this statement, and Karen is going to, I'll get in trouble by making it, but this statement is, our family's safer because of Karen, it's funner because of me. It's really fun because she has a more fun personality, everybody knows it. But financially, but when we make decisions together, she slows me down and I speed her up. When we come together, we just make great financial decisions. But listen, you can't make great financial decisions when you're calling each other names. Rather than me calling Karen a tightwad, what I realize now is Karen is a very careful person financially, and I appreciate that because that helps me a lot. And rather than her calling me a spendthrift I want to enjoy our money. I mean, I want to save money and live within our means and be a good money manager, but I also want to have fun. We make great decisions together, and that's the way you need to think about it. You have different perspectives, and it'll help you make better decisions. Number 2 step toward financial intimacy is shared control. First of all, there's going to be respect in this relationship. There's not going to be chauvinism. There's not going to be judgmentalism and calling names and things like that. But we're going to share all financial decisions. One of us is not going to dominate the finances, which is very common. And by the way, any time that there's dominance in a marriage relationship, the satisfaction of the marriage drops immediately. Marriage is not supposed to be dominated by any person, but dominance is as common among women as it is men. There are just as many dominant women as there are dominant men. And here's how you can know that your finances are being dominated by one person. First of all, there are significant financial decisions being made without conversation or agreement. Someone is acting, sometimes it's both people, but a lot of times it's one person who's taking control of the finances. Number 2, if you confront that person, you pay a price. We're totally equals. Everything that we have, we own together, and we should be controlling together. A man came to me, this has been about 20 years ago, and this man came to me and his wife, wonderful wife, beautiful wife, and he put her on a budget. He was a very financially responsible person, made a lot of money, very responsible person, and had the family on a budget, and she didn't necessarily disagree with the budget, but the thing is she bartered sex for extra stuff. And she knew all of his sexual desires, so she would just come and say, honey, I've wanted that dining room table. And he would say, well, that's not in the budget. And she would say, well, let me say this. You know that cheerleader outfit? And, Friday night will be the night of your dreams if there's a new dining table in the dining room. And so she would come and say, honey, I need some clothes and this. No, it's not in the budget. Well, let me just tell you, for this set of clothes, I will do this and this and this sexually. Like that. Well, first of all, she was very well dressed. And so the home was well decorated. But what happened was, after a couple of years of that, he came and here's what he said. First of all, why can't she just have sex with me because she loves me? Why does she have to purchase things with sex? And secondly, why can't she show financial constraint? Because she's always wanting to spend more than we have, and we agree on the budget, then she comes and does all that. And here's the point. Manipulation and control just simply means I'm going to dominate the finances, and if I don't get my way, you're going to pay a price. And he did. When he didn't let her buy clothing and furniture, she cut him off sexually. If you and your spouse, when you're talking and your spouse tells you how they feel, if you withdraw emotionally, sexually, if you become emotionally or verbally abusive to them, what it means is you're dominating the relationship. It's your way or the highway. And if you don't get your way, you're going to pout, you're going to throw a fit, you're going to make sure that everybody is so uncomfortable that you're going to get your way. And I'm saying you will never have financial intimacy in your marriage if you dominate the relationship. Here's the issue. You're both equal shareholders in the partnership. You both get an equal vote. And here's the commitment that you make. And here's the commitment that Karen and I have. Every decision we make together, and we will not bully or browbeat each other. And if I don't get my way, I'm not going to cut you off or withdraw or verbally abuse you. We are partners, and we're going to make our decisions together. If your spouse is out of control and abusive or something like that, and you need to withdraw for the sake of getting help and redeeming the marriage, that's one thing. But if you are trying to control the relationship financially, you'll never have intimacy in your relationship because God designed marriage to be a full partnership. Number 3 step toward financial intimacy is equal sacrifice, teamwork, in equity. There has to be equality in sacrifice, teamwork, and effort. Now, Genesis 2:24 is a law. It's the law of possession in marriage. It says, they two shall become one flesh. The only way that you can become one in marriage is to sacrifice everything into the marriage. The word mine destroys marriages. The word ours is what creates marriages. In marriage, you can't have things that you had when you were single. When you were single, everything was individual and you owned it, controlled it individually. But when you're married, you share everything and you own and control everything together. They two shall become one, and the only way that can happen is if I bring all my money, everything I have, and put it in one pile that we own and control together, that there's equal sacrifice. Not one person is asked to sacrifice and the other person doesn't sacrifice. We give together. There's equal teamwork and equal equity. And here's what equal equity means. If you want a new kitchen and I want a new fishing boat, we're both going to get what we want. Everything has to be equal. And I want to say it again. Men and women are totally equals. And it doesn't matter who makes the money. The only thing that matters is we're together in a partnership, and we're better off because we're together. Well, we're excited to be able to offer that teaching to you on being financial partners in marriage. It's huge. I mean, your marriage is just going to be so much different when you're operating as a team in the area of finances. So I hope that was a blessing to you. Now, that teaching is just a very small part. You just saw about 10 minutes of a full 40-minute teaching that I do on that subject, plus 2 other teachings on reversing the financial curse and also God's laws for financial blessing. And that is on a resource that we're offering to you today called You, Me, and Money. It's a CD resource, also a DVD resource. For your gift of $45 or more, we'll get you the 3 teachings on CD along with the book. For your gift of $80 or more, we want to send you the DVD series along with the book. These are important resources that literally can save your marriage and strengthen your marriage and even help your children and generations to come to understand this critical issue of how to handle money together in marriage. Here's how you can get these important resources.
Experience Jimmy's inspiring series, You, Me, and Money. We'll also include Jimmy's book, The Stress-Free Marriage. For your gift of $45 or more, you'll receive the CD series and book. For your gift of $80 or more, you'll receive the DVD series and book.
Regardless of where you have been, regardless of mistakes that you have made or where you are right now, you serve a mighty God and He wants to bless you for the rest of your life.
In this series, Jimmy reveals biblical principles for financial blessing, how to break free from financial curses, and practical solutions for financial stress. A bonus session is also included.
Is it possible to live in profound financial certainty and security in the days that we're living in? Absolutely, if your trust is in God.
Support Marriage Today with your gift of any amount and receive the book, The Stress-Free Marriage. Take hold of the future God has for your family with these powerful resources.
We're excited to have 2 special guests, Scott and Bethany Palmer, with us, who are financial experts, authors. They also do seminars, and they are the money couple. Would you welcome Scott and Bethany Palmer? Good to have you guys with us.
Thank you.
God bless you. Bethany, good to have you here. And you guys have written this book, a wonderful book. First comes love, then comes money, and I just want everybody to be aware of this. You have a website that's called themoneycouple.com. I know you guys appear on ABC all the time, and you've been helping couples for a long time, and we're really glad that you're with us. Now, we're gonna talk about something really important on this. Karen's gonna begin by reading a question, but we have some really important information on this program we want to talk about.
Okay, guys, how should you respond if your spouse controls the finances?
Well,
Are you asking that, or
Excuse me?
Do we need to have a private session?
Well, maybe.
You know, control is a huge, huge issue financially in relationships. And often control starts off with someone just taking the finances at first. Hey, I'm too busy, you take over the finances. And the other person tries to jump back in maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 30 years later. And the other person is like, no, this is my area, this is what I control. And control can just have the most devastating effects on a relationship anyways. But when you throw money in there,
absolutely.
what often it leads to is something that Bethany and I call financial infidelity. And financial infidelity is any hiding, hoarding, secret accounts, just anything you can think of where you're really going out of your way so that your spouse is not finding out about what you're doing with money. Control is probably one of the leading things that happens with financial infidelity. There's really five reasons that we see financial infidelity in relationships. The first is financial separation. The second is overspending in debt. The third is lack of planning. The fourth is control. And then the fifth is money secrets.
The financial infidelity can just play havoc on a relationship. 60% of women have a secret credit card or account. Can you believe that?
I don't. I'm the 40% that's good.
I have to say, though, I have to say in defense of women, the control issue is really where I think a lot of that percentage comes from.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes
women are being controlled.
Yes.
They're being controlled by money, especially if they're working inside the home. And so we see a lot of these secret accounts show up because it's a defensive position.
Yeah.
And if there is any secret in a relationship, then that will play havoc on the relationship. We cannot, there is no place. And money affects just about every decision we make as a couple, even those mundane decisions. And so if you're hiding money, it is just can play havoc. We see financial infidelity play out in relationships in a big way, like secret credit cards, secret accounts. It's so easy now to hide money, which is kind of hard, but you have all the online and people have statements sent to their work, but it's also the little financial infidelity that can really play havoc. For example, you say you're only going to spend $100 at the store, but you really spend $200 and you don't say anything. And you say, as a matter of fact, I just committed financial infidelity not all that long ago, and
You realize it's getting taped, right?
yeah.
All right, just making sure.
And, I said that I was just going to buy one pair of pants, and I was online, and I ended up buying a pair of pants and a blouse and another jacket. And it's just so easy to creep in there. And there is no place in a relationship, in a good relationship for that. And I needed to say to Scott, because as a matter of fact, the clothes showed up on the doorstep, and he was like, well, honey, I thought you were just going to get a pair of pants.
It's a big box.
Yeah.
And a big bill.
Exactly.
So you're saying that you should discuss everything.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
financial fidelity means staying true to
Yes.
Absolutely.
the agreements that you've made and talking about
Absolutely.
things before you do.
Absolutely. And I did that, and I returned the other two things because we didn't agree to that. And that was my mistake and my fault. And so it's just, we have to own up to it. And a lot of times it's easier, especially if you have what we call a spender money personality, where you like to spend, which you're looking at me like maybe that's, but it's really easy to do that. It's really, so you have to fess up and you have to say, no, that my relationship is more important than my desires.
Right.
Well, I know for Jimmy and I, he likes to spend, and I like to save.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I had the look on
Okay.
your face like, how dare you spend?
I like you, Bethany.
But, the more we've been married, the more we trust each other. And so, he always was just like free to buy for himself. And I was just like, no, I don't want to buy for myself. And so as I've watched him enjoy himself buying, I've caught myself, hey, I want to buy them for me now too.
So now we've reversed roles.
Great. But I agree with you. There's an honesty though that I would never do anything without, over a certain amount without sitting down and talking to him. But I also know that I could spend, and I know he wouldn't care.
And we call that a money commitment. What is the amount of money that you agree upon together that you won't spend without consulting the other? And now the use of technology can be so good. You could take a quick picture of something that you want to buy and, hey, honey, what do you think about this? Those kind of things. There's ways that you can do it, but that money commitment to each other that you won't go over, especially if you have a spender money personality inside your relationship, it's so important to have that.
Let me go back to the issue of control for just a minute, because that's a huge issue.
Yes.
Okay, how do you break that? I know two ways, people watching right now that control, and they feel like their spouse is out of control, or they're just smarter, or their ways are just better, and so they're controlling. And also the person being controlled. Talk about that for just a minute.
I think the person being controlled has to say something. They have to say, listen, we have got to get this under control, because the more you suppress me financially, the more I just want to have financial infidelity. Right. And so just being really upfront about that. Often the person that's controlling is controlling out of fear. They're saying, I don't trust this person with my money because 20 years ago, they bought a piece of land and we lost a ton of money on it. Well, part of it is getting over it, but part of it is also relinquishing it. And what we find is that when we can get couples not only to relinquish, but then also for the person that's being controlled to step in and take some responsibility, a lot of times people go, I feel like this person controls the finances. The other person says, great, would you take half? And they go, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to help you. I just don't want you to control me.
Yeah.
And
So you have to have a partnership.
It has to be a partnership. You have to come halfway. And the person that's controlling the money needs to let the person step in and share in those responsibilities. And when that happens, that the healing is just, it's almost instant. And it also teaching the other person, hey, this person's been working really hard on this for a long time. And that's where you can encourage your spouse and say, hey, I didn't even know that we had a retirement account. I can't believe you've been doing this for the last 15 years.
I think with Jimmy and I too, what always made me feel more secure is if we would be willing to pray about it.
Absolutely.
You know, we would, stop and ask the Lord and pray about it and just get peace about what we're about to do. I mean, it was just like, okay, it's okay then if God says, or not.
These are such important principles. Now we're going to come right back with Scott and Bethany and talk more with them about this issue of financial infidelity and how to have financial intimacy in your marriage. Let me say, we have partners all over the country who support us financially here at Marriage Today. That's why we're able to do what we do. And we want you to be one of our partners. We have a monthly program that's called Dream Marriage. Our rock solid partners are the people that get our Dream Marriage resource every month. It's the first and best of all of our marriage resources. And so when we do a new seminar, when we do new programs, new resources, you're the first to get them. And we have now a way to send you that electronically every month to your iPhone, to your iPad, to your computer, plus the physical delivery, plus a special level of partner program that you get special premiums as being a partner with Karen and me. And we want to ask you to be our partner, and here's some details about how you can do that.
When you stand with Marriage Today, your individual effort multiplies with other like-minded partners. And together, we can rebuild the dream of marriage for couples around the world.
I would recommend becoming a rock-solid partner because you are grafting into a group of individuals that are committed to restoring marriage to this country, and that's something we want to be a part of.
In pursuit of this vital mission, Marriage Today utilizes a daily television broadcast, multiple live events, a comprehensive online outreach, and hundreds of marriage-building resources. Your partnership is literally making every facet of this ministry possible. And that means couples are receiving the help and hope they need to take their marriage to the next level of fulfillment and intimacy.
We enjoy the resources, we enjoy all of it, but I think just knowing that we're touching the lives of so many other marriages, creating an atmosphere for them to get the help they need.
Being a rock-solid partner with Marriage Today grants you immediate access to an exclusive library of the ministry's resources and intimately connects you with our mission of helping couples succeed in marriage.
We're proof that the ministry is beneficial and that it works. It has helped to save us, and that means that our children get to grow up with two parents in a home together. It makes a difference in our lives every single day that I couldn't imagine not being a partner.
Everyone has something to give. And there are millions of unreached couples who desperately need the marriage-strengthening resources of Marriage Today. That's why we need you to join us. Become a rock-solid partner with the ministry and mission of Marriage Today.
Welcome back. Okay, I have a question. I knew of a situation where the woman made good money and her husband made not so good, and but they had separate checking accounts. And so literally it was like if she wanted something, she used her checking account. If he wanted something, it was like, oh no, you have to use yours. And there was never, I mean, how does that work?
It doesn't work.
Doesn't. That's so true.
At all. I don't think the issue is a separate checking accounts, because we deal with couples all the time where maybe one of them has their private business and there's money run through that. It has to be 100% transparency with those accounts. And the money is your money. When you got married, it all came together. So what we tend to do is we tend to put these specific, you have to do this, you have to do this, and you just don't need to do that. You need to be 100% transparent. In my opinion, that situation is like having separate date nights. Sure. You do your date night, I'll do my date night, because, and I'm paying for mine, you're paying for yours. That would work about Never. So it's the same with your money. You need to be transparent with those dollars. And there's probably some control that's in that as well, but that's not going to work long term, I don't think.
And that's where we suggest a money huddle once a month, getting together, showing what's coming in and out of each of your accounts. Again, like Scott said, it's not if having the separate accounts that's the problem. It's just, are you being transparent at what's coming in and going out?
Our son and daughter-in-law have a marriage group with some young couples in there, and they said one of the biggest problems with young couples right now is fear. You know, a woman coming into the marriage, she doesn't want to become too dependent upon him. She keeps her name in many cases. She keeps her own bank account. There's a kind of a fear of becoming too dependent. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's what a lot of society is telling us to do, especially financially, because you have to hold on to what's yours in case you get divorced. The reality is in most states, they're going to split it 50-50 anyways.
Sure.
So the states still have their arms wrapped around that. So that level of independence is just keeping us financially separate. You're never going to grow if you've always got this attitude of, I've got to keep you far away with my finances, but I'll let you in every other aspect of my life. Especially
and it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Well, and this couple ended up getting divorced.
Yeah, not a shock at all.
Not a shock.
Yeah, so
Not a shock at all.
Well, Scott and Bethany, thank you for being with us. Now, you have this book, First Comes Love, Then Comes Money, and they can get this at the bookstore.
Absolutely.
And you have your website, themoneycouple.com, and your resources are on there.
Yes, we have a free monthly resource that you can tap into on there called the Money Couple Minute. It's a great resource for couples.
And I know I get your emails, and so encourage you to go on their website, get their emails, get this book. Scott and Bethany have such wisdom when it comes to money and marriage. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
We really do
It's
appreciate
great
it.
to be here.
Well, this issue of money and marriage, you know, we get married to share our lives with each other, and money is such a critical part of our lives together. And for Karen and I, it was a source of a lot of fighting when we first got married, but really right now it's one of the sources of great joy for us, is being able to see God's blessings on our finances. But we talk about everything, we pray about decisions before we make them, and so there's hope for you, and that's what I'm trying to say. Wherever you are right now, God is there with you. He loves you. He can change any circumstance in your life, and so be sure to pray about it, talk to your spouse, work out all these issues, and you can succeed and prosper in your marriage. God bless you. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time right here on Marriage Today. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen. Support Marriage Today with your best gift and receive the series You, Me, and Money. Don't miss the first ever XO Marriage Conference with Jimmy and Karen Evans, February 13th and 14th. Register at xomarriageconference.com. Follow your interests and get social by connecting with Jimmy and Karen and the Ministry of Marriage Today on Twitter. Become a rock-solid partner today and connect with the mission of Marriage Today. Together, we can help couples succeed in marriage.
This program is made possible by the generous support of our faithful partners.